Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, and this is our final live show before the 2023 NFL Draft. For those of you that do not know, Jeremy Chuggs and I are going to be live for every single pick. I'm not just talking just the Raiders picks. I mean every single pick, all 3 days, all 7 rounds of the 2023 NFL Draft. So if you don't already know, hit that subscribe button. We will get the picks here before you see them on television. Hopefully everyone is having one hell of a day today. Major shout out to Boost Raider, Martin, Xavier, Jeff, Chris, Kenneth, Vincenzo, Queen, Sarah Otto. I see all y'all down in the comments. We got a hell of a show on tap for everyone. So first thing, crack that thing open. Raiders draft rumors. We're going to talk about that. And on top, we're going to combine it with the latest NFL draft rumors on top of that. Because in terms of Will Levis, CJ Stroud, whether or not the Raiders end up drafting either of those players, when you look at the latest news around those two guys, that's definitely going to impact the silver and black. As always, we're going to get into a mailbag, so you can use hashtag Raiders or Super Chat, get those questions and comments up here on the show. And then my final Raiders mock draft of 2023. It's crazy. You do as many mock drafts as what I've done on YouTube and on locals. I bet you now I'm getting close to probably a solid 30 of them. So the final one will be today. Yeah, potentially even 32. All right, so in your opinion, who do you want the Raiders to draft at number 7? Everybody welcome in Jeremy Chuggs. There he is. Good to see you.
Little golf clap. This is all I got for you, a little golf clap.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what. I think, what if we arm wrestle during the draft? Right hands for a super chat. Sounds like a challenge.
Oh, yeah. Loser has to do 5 boots.
I don't know. We'll see. Martin, what's up, Chuggs? Osiris wants Will Levis, if available. No to Levis from Yes Sir. A player who can help the Raiders win. That is the correct answer there from Chris Smith.
That's a great answer right there.
Got a very first super chat.
Oh!
What up, Edgar Hernandez? He's going to go with Devon, Witherspoon, Juan Hernandez, CJ Stroud, Jeff Rogers, Jalen Carter. BP Raider says,
do you want to
go for Chuggs.
You want to go ahead and give this name a shout out?
Yep, let's give a shout out to Daddy Dix 404. I'll tell you what. You got your money's worth.
Oh, first super chat.
First super chat. Yeah, I told you, for all y'all that don't know, I said it yesterday when I was live on Graph Show, I do not plan on drinking today because of the amount of drinks that Jeremy and I will consume on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So usually for first-time supers, I'll take a drink, but Daddy Dix, cheers to you, man.
Eric.
What's up, man? Whatever you're doing for supers today, do it. Raiders! The only thing I'm doing for Super Chats today are reading them off. We'll celebrate if there's some big ones. Now, obviously, if you know the rules, if Lucky Irish is here, that's the only way that I will actually drink today. But it's simply because, again, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Chuggs and I for 12 hours a day. It's
going to be a gauntlet.
Your body goes through a lot of stuff, and I want y'all also to rest up and get ready for one hell of a 2023 NFL draft.
Good thing we were breastfed.
Yikes. I mean, this is...
We'll be ready for the draft.
That was a conversation before this show got started, which is maybe the reason why we were a minute or two late. We were trying to get off the teat. So, who do you want the Raiders to draft at number 7?
I can tell you this. Tyler, 100% breastfed.
Maybe still. I don't know.
Tyler?
Stroud at 7 from Juicehead, 89.
Tyler's giving me one of these.
WB from Sucker Free Raider. Trade down at Stockpile from Raider Ray. TJ says, be prepared to be disappointed. I really hope not. Devon Witherspoon from Vincenzo. I got Enzo who wants Stroud. Pass on a QB at 7 from Christopher Leonard. Well, if you haven't already, please vote at the poll that we have at the very top of today's show. It asks if CJ Stroud is available to the Raiders at 7. If you think that is crazy, well, then you're not really paying attention to what the latest news is around the 2023 draft. Anyway, if he's there, do you take him? 75% of the people say yes. Let's go to the next super coming in from Cameron. If we don't trade up for a quarterback, we should trade out of 7 and get more capital. So what if you have a quarterback at number 7? Like, I do think that there is starting to become more and more of a possibility that a QB is there at 7.
Will Levis at 1?
I mean, if Will Levis goes at 1, the whole draft is going to be in shambles. I don't buy it, but...
What are you going to do if Will Levis goes on 1?
Celebrate. I will celebrate. If Will Levis goes at number 1, that only helps the Raiders.
Boot on the house?
If Will Levis goes number 1, boot on the house, yikes. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's get wild. Will Levis boot on the house if he goes number 1 overall.
I don't think it's going to happen either. I'm
I
just
don't
saying,
either.
like, the slight possibility of it happening.
There's always a possibility to anything, right?
So you're saying there's a chance.
I'll say this, though, Cameron. I am team trade back no matter what. There is not a single quarterback in this year's draft that I believe is worth giving up the amount of draft capital it probably would take to go up and get them. I would rather, if you're going to give up a lot of picks, save up those picks and do it next year because the quarterbacks next year's class are a lot better. Let's go to Thugador Strawberry. Hey, Mitch and Chugs, will the draft show whether we are in win now mode or not? If yes, what picks will we have to make in order for it to seem that way? I mean, the Raiders are going to be in win now mode.
Defense. If you don't go defense in 2 of the first 3 picks, I'm saying you're not in win now mode.
If they take a quarterback, then that's a big, they're not in win now mode. I mean, whether you like to hear, I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be the starting quarterback for the Raiders this upcoming season. I would say the only way that he's not, there are new reports out there that they like Bryce Young apparently more, and he was the quarterback that they were looking for. I mean, if it were to be Will Levis at 1 and Bryce Young is there at 2, then, maybe that changes the Raiders' idea. Because if you trade up to number 2 and take Bryce Young, you got to play him over Jimmy G.
Oh, 100%. If Bryce Young is there and the Texans are willing to trade back, are you willing to give up 3 first-round picks for him this year, next year, and the year after?
I'm not, personally. I think Bryce Young's a good quarterback, but to me, if I evaluate quarterbacks, I want to evaluate the quarterback based on how many years. Like, if you're giving up that much to get Bryce Young, you're like, this is our future. 10 years, at least. Like, that's how I would look at it. 10 years.
I think if you trade up to number 2, you're saying that already.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. To me, though, if I had to bet on 10 years, I'd be more willing to bet on, I feel like a broken record, Drake May, Caleb Williams, giving up all those. Absolutely not. And go out and get one of those guys instead of, Bryce Young. To me, I want to trade back, and I'm hoping that the Raiders do that. Let's go to Christopher Leonard. Take Witherspoon or Gonzalez at 7. Go defense. I want to go defense as well, but one of the biggest reasons why I'm okay with the Raiders trading back at number 7 is because the amount of, if you were able to add an extra second-round pick, right, if you get Devon Witherspoon and then, I don't know, a linebacker at 38, compared to if you trade back, maybe get yourself a Chris Gonzalez or a Joey Porter Jr. or a Deonta Banks, but then also add that extra second-round pick. I do like that a lot. I mean, we got to be able to face the facts. The Raiders have so many holes on defense that need to be filled, giggity, and I'm hoping that they end up getting filled on draft night. So be honest with me, y'all. Do you want the Raiders to draft CJ Stroud at pick 7? Let's say we're sitting there, it's draft night. Jeremy Chugs and I have already had a few drinks in us. We're rocking and rolling, and Roger Goodell steps up to the podium. Would you want the name to be CJ Stroud if he is still there? Type D for draft or type T for trade back. What would you do? What would you do?
Ooh, it's one of those things where it's like reverse psychology. So much of the draft is reverse psychology because we've talked about if Jalen Carter falls, do you take him? And it's like at a certain point, I feel like teams might just not take him because other teams aren't taking him. Like if I think if Jalen Carter falls past pick 10, we might see him fall to the 20s.
I mean, definitely because he didn't visit with any other teams. He didn't want to visit with any other team. So it could be an intriguing thing to look at. To me, though, if Stroud's there at 7, like there would be teams to me that would be willing to trade up and give quite a bit.
It's split in the comments right now. I see about half T's, half D's.
Here's the way it would go, and this is me being 100% honest with you. Do I think it is the best thing for the Las Vegas Raiders? No, I do not. Would I be excited about the pick? Yes. It's a quarterback. Like, the other way that I could see the Raiders doing this, though, if you take CJ Stroud, you are locking in Dave Ziegler, Josh McDaniels, no matter what, for the 2024 season. Like, if they take Stroud, that's locking them in. So they're gonna be back for 2024, no matter what. Let's go to Brandon Jasper. It's been a minute. What's up, my brother? In all honesty, do you think I'll have to book a flight to Vegas after draft, have a conversation with Davis, Zieg, and McDum $signs? So, I hope not, Brandon. I know you're not the biggest fan of these guys. I mean, we're all anxiously waiting, right? Because the other day I was doing a show, and somebody asked me, like, are you nervous about the draft? And I said, of course I'm nervous. But they were like, well, it's not Gruden, it's not Mayock. I said, I don't care what it is. Until I see a first-round pick with my own eyes, me live on the Raiders Report that I like, I'm not going to believe it. Man, every year that I have done this show, the first-round picks for the Raiders have been shit.
Cheeks!
They've been cheeks. There's no doubt about it. Let's go to Shredder. If Stroud is there at 7, take him. Unless Carter is also there, then I would go Carter.
If they're both there, you're not even interested in trading back, Hector?
See, to me, like, what if Witherspoon, Carter, and CJ Stroud are on the board? Like, to me...
Like, just crazy. Like, Skoronski goes in the top 5. Tyree Wilson goes before Carter.
I mean, Tyree Wilson might be the first defensive player drafted. That's what the odds are showing. The odds are showing that Tyree Wilson, Texas Tech, Houston Texans, apparently that could be their guy. I mean, we've seen the draft go a lot of different ways, and I will continue to say trade back. If Stroud is there at 7, you take him. I do not agree with that. Because to me, I want to take a player at 7 that I know is going to help us this year. If you take CJ Stroud at 7, I think they sit him. I think they sit him for an entire year, have him learn behind Jimmy Garoppolo, and then my question goes to this. Would you rather have CJ Stroud sit behind Jimmy Garoppolo, or would you rather have the possibility of having a first-year guy in Drake May or Caleb Williams? To me, I'll take the first-year guys every single day of the week. Let's go to Pat. If Levis goes at 1, possible Jamarcus Russell. I mean, is there a possibility to be the biggest draft bust of all time? Sure, right? I mean, for what Carolina had to give up to get him, it would be monumental, right? If he doesn't end up working out and they give up all that, it's monumental.
Double that, because the Bears have their first-round pick next year.
Yep.
If they're the worst team in the league, the Bears are going to either trade Justin Fields or trade the number 1 pick and get so much in return.
Dude, if you're Chicago, you're sitting there right now and you're begging that they take Will Levis.
Oh, yeah. Harrison was like...
If they take Will Levis, you're celebrating.
I think I saw Harrison's desk move a little whenever he read that Will Levis might go number 1.
Coming out of hibernation. What? Yeah, well, this actually...
It's been 9 months.
It has been 9 months. I mean, I'm pretty sure I saw Harrison's daddy Dick's move. So we need defense. I'm thinking corner, first and second rounds. Haven't had a true shutdown since Charles Woodson in 24. I mean, I don't know if I 100% agree with that. Nnamdi Asomugha was really good for like a
good actor.
A year or two. Then he went to Philadelphia, and that was just awful. But overall, the cornerback class to me is so deep that when I've done mock drafts, sometimes when I see a mock that I really, really like, it's me not taking a cornerback in round 1 and then stocking up on corners in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round. So if the Raiders come away with a Devon Witherspoon, a Chris Gonzalez, I'm going to be ecstatic. If you're also able to add, let's say, like a DJ Turner in round 2, or maybe able to get a Brents from Kansas State. Like, I like those prospects a lot. Corey Trice in round 3. Sign me up for that every day of the week. Cameron, Mitch, I love your thoughts on trading back from 7, but would you still take a quarterback like Hooker or a lesser quarterback like maybe Bennett? To me, I do think the Raiders come away from this draft with a quarterback. The problem is, though, I don't view Hendon Hooker as a top 50 overall prospect, so for that reason, I don't want to take him at number 38. If you were in a better situation defensively than what the Raiders are, then you can get a little bit more creative, but realistically, the Raiders need 4 starters on defense. Like, legitimately, to me, they need 3 to 4 starters on defense. So if you have the opportunity to add defensive starters right away in the draft, to me, you got to do it. But, last year I talked about trading back. The year before I talked about trading back. So often you find yourself talking about trading back, but then it comes draft night, and then you don't quite get what you're looking for, which is actually something that when you see the mock draft that I do a little bit later today, I don't love the value that I got for the trade back. However, it was the best offer available, and because I've talked about trade back so often, you'll kind of see what the situation was. LI, trade back, the DB and tight end class is deep.
It's deep.
It's very deep tight end class, very deep cornerback class, and both of those are big-time needs for the Silver and Black. What up, Mike? Stroud available at 7 would make the pick much more valuable, wouldn't it? What cost would we get under this scenario? To me, if CJ Stroud's available at 7, I think the Tennessee Titans would be an interested team. I would imagine that
the Commanders
at 16, I'd say the Patriots at 14. Hell, I think even like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would be an interested team.
Yeah.
I know we've already assumed that Jordan Love's going to be the quarterback in Green Bay, but what if they really didn't like him? And what if one of the reasons why they swapped the first-round picks is because if a quarterback was there, they go up and get a QB. I don't buy it.
No.
But hey, I've seen crazier. John, Mount Raidermore, Mitch, you and Trizzy owe me a 3-way race for tapping out early on the Knicks party. I'll be honest with you, John. That Knicks party is a blur. So I'll talk to Trizzy. He's not in the room right now, and actually neither is Marshall.
What do they do? Are they having their own Knicks party back there?
I don't know. What was a 3-way race? What was the race, Borelli? I'll take your word for it. I know you're good for it, but I'll tell you this.
Oh, he said, Seatman said him, Marsh, and Tom did the race.
Oh. So Seeps is saying on Sunday that they made up for it, but yeah. Never mind. Seeps has got red hair. He's lying to you. So, swap picks with Tampa.
Also,
first and Devon White. I don't want Devon White.
First-time Super Chatter.
First-time Super Chatter from Raider Ray. The problem is with Devon White, he is, I think, one of the most overrated linebackers in the NFL. He is just a linebacker. He might be the worst coverage linebacker in the NFL. And if he's looking for 18 to 20 mil, no chance in hell I'm willing to pay him that. So, I'm good on the whole Devon White trade idea. Will you be watching the 2023 NFL Draft with Chugs and myself? Give me a yes, give me a no. We got 600 people watching. I hope that y'all tune in with Jeremy and I. I really, really, truly do. We've put in a lot of time, a lot of effort. We got a shit ton of giveaways.
3 words. Ranch ice cream.
I'm nervous.
Ranch ice cream.
Yep, last year or 2 years ago we got mac and cheese, and now we have ranch. I am seeing a lot of yeses.
Ranch.
Rebel says, yes, I don't have cable. Luckily for you, we get it even before you'll see it on TV.
Legalize it. Ranch.
On my lunch break and after work. Well, we will be live for the entire thing. Subscribe, turn on those noties. It's going to be one hell of a day.
Another first-timer.
What up, Eric? I low-key want Richardson. I feel like he would bring a certain swag that this offense is missing. If coached right, he could be the next Lamar Jackson. Cheers, Mitch and Chugs. I mean, one of the biggest things you said there is if coached right. Like, I do not think that Richardson is a good fit in the Josh McDaniels system. However, if McDaniels were to be able to build his offense around Richardson, that's a lot more of a different conversation.
I feel like he's more comparable, because as weird as it sounds, I think Lamar Jackson was a better passer than him.
Much better.
Coming out of college. I think Anthony Richardson, he looks more like a more athletic Cam Newton than he does a Lamar Jackson.
It reminds me of Cam Newton, but also from, if you want to like sell somebody on Anthony Richardson, the Cam Newton like running ability, I 100% get, but Cam also was a much better thrower. I also will say Jalen Hurts doesn't have nearly as strong of an arm, but what you would hope for, I think, from an NFL team is if you saw Jalen Hurts when he was at Oklahoma, they were literally afraid to throw the football with him. He was that bad of a thrower. But he got better and better and better. They put him in the right system, and now he has really materialized into be a pretty good quarterback at the NFL level. What you would hope for is that Richardson, still with that athletic ability, would be able to go and get better and better, kind of like what Jalen Hurts has done with the Philadelphia Eagles. However, they've done a good job putting an offense around his strengths. I don't think that that's what the Raiders would do with Richardson, but hey, maybe I'm wrong.
Let's try to start this show, but first, before we get started, can we get to 150 likes?
We're at what, 100 and I thought we were going to be at like 149.
We're at 125. We're 25 away.
25 away. All right. Once we get there, then we can finally get this show started. For those
only once we get that amount of likes.
Oh man. Just hit the like right now, just so Jeremy gets off this. Coming up here on the Raiders Report, we got some Raiders draft rumors. We're also going to get into the latest around the NFL. Raiders mailbag. You can use hashtag Raiders or Super Chat. Get those questions and comments on the show.
Looks like we just blew right past it.
Juan Hernandez says, we got it. Keystone Raider done already.
Well, if you haven't liked the video, go ahead and like it still. Even though we passed it, let's get to 795 likes.
That sounds good to me. And then our final Raiders mock draft of 2023. There will be some trades involved, and we'll kind of walk through all of those. But I would say we'll probably be live here for a good 75 minutes or so.
Oh, that's kind of lit.
Oh, this is really lit. What's up, Oscar?
That's you.
If we nail the draft, are we competitive, honestly?
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out when that picture was taken.
You look tan. That should be a summer pick.
I look tan. I got a jean jacket on, though. I don't even know. I almost wonder if that's like I feel like I've only ever worn that outfit in Dallas.
Oscar, to answer your question, the Seahawks were supposed to be the worst team in the NFL this past season.
Correct.
They nailed the draft. They made the playoffs.
I mean, even like the New York Jets. The New York Jets were really bad at the quarterback position, but really did well in the NFL draft. I mean, to me, Jimmy Garoppolo needs to play well. The AFC is a really difficult spot. Do you need to really nail this draft? Yes, you do. But luckily for the Raiders, they have plenty of draft capital to do that. I'm not worried about the offense. I'm really not. I am worried about the defense. And if the defense can be, I don't know, top 15, then look out. We got a shot.
All right, first up, we have some Raiders draft rumors. And stick around, because right after this segment, me and Mitch are going to tell you how on the second day of the draft, we're going to do something that you can win $100.
Correct.
$100. We're going to tell only the real ones who are watching today's show how to do it early.
Yep.
So if you want to win $100.
100 doll hairs.
Dollars. Actual dollars.
Correct.
Not doll hairs.
Yeah, doll hairs. It's a lot of doll hairs.
$100. Stick around after the segment. We're going to tell you how. But right now, we have some Raiders draft rumors for Mitchell Renz to break down. Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Oh, I think I'm ready.
All right. You want me to produce?
Oh, I think I'm ready.
Okay, go. Let's go. Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. And coming up here on today's show, we're going to get into the latest Raiders draft rumors, but also some NFL draft news that really could impact the silver and black. If you don't already know, huge shout out to today's sponsor, Panda Sups. And I want you to go use their code TEST for 25% off their test boosters at pandasups.com. The link is going to be available for you guys in the comments and in the description of today's show. One dude who looks like he could potentially be using some of that Panda Sups is Will Levis, and we're definitely going to be talking about him today because we have some interesting draft rumors, and then who's going to be the number one overall pick? I always think it's funny when things start popping up left and right the few days before the draft, because this is prime time smoke screen season where this leak is out, that leak is out. We need to get a plumber to start patching up all these leaks. And hopefully, y'all are tuning in with Jeremy Chuggs and I, because we're going to be rocking and rolling during the 2023 NFL Draft. And my question to all of you is this: who is going to be the number one overall pick in the 2023 NFL Draft? If you don't know how Chat Sports works, it's an interactive show, so please go down in the comments whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching this on a later date. My money is still going to be on Alabama quarterback Bryce Young, but the Will Levis rumors, to me, I love rumors. If you don't know that, then you're watching the wrong show. The Will Levis number one overall rumors is a lot of fun. If you don't know exactly, it's this: So right now, apparently, according to the internet, the Panthers could actually draft Will Levis number 1 overall. And one of the things that I love about rumors is sometimes people validate it, and then other times people just run with the story. Some dude on Reddit, you can go look it up, said that Levis is telling friends and family he's going to go number 1 overall. And then apparently he also just followed Panthers offensive coordinator Josh McCown on Instagram. So you have that he's telling friends and family, that he followed Josh McCown. So you got Reddit, you got, well, that's what he said, and now you got Instagram. I mean, those are the 3 biggest things. But the one thing, not that this isn't intriguing to me, what I always listen to, Vegas, because Vegas always knows. This is interesting. When y'all went to bed Monday night, Will Levis odds to go number 1 overall, 50-1. 50-1 in the 2023 NFL Draft. Guess what? Those odds went to 25-1, to then to 10-1, and now the odds are even higher than that. To me, I get it. This is prime time smokescreen season. I do not believe that Will Levis is going to be going number 1 overall. But if he does, chaos. If he does, I do think it really, really, truly helps out the Raiders, because you see a guy like Levis go that early, that means other primetime players are going to be sliding down a little bit. So according to the number 1 overall odds here, Levis went from 50-1 to plus 700. So 7-1 odds, essentially. Bryce Young is still the clear favorite according to Vegas, and it's not even close. CJ Stroud then at plus 3,000. Anthony Richardson, Will Anderson. These are the latest odds to go number 1. Now, even though I do not believe that Levis is drafted at 1, there's a chance that he could be the second quarterback drafted. We've seen in the last week and a half, the CJ Stroud love started to fall down. We've seen Anthony Richardson, plenty of holes in his game. Is the upside there? No doubt about it. But then there's also a lot of other NFL GMs that believe, hey, Will Levis, could he potentially be the next Josh Allen? He has a lot of upside. And these are the latest Vegas odds at number 2 overall. The favorite, Levis at plus 150. Tyree Wilson plus 300. Will Anderson plus 300. Stroud plus 350. Bryce Young at plus 800. And then Anthony Richardson at plus 4,000. A lot of times you look at these, it does have to do with the team that's drafting. Also, it has to do with if a team were to be willing to trade up. What I hear from this, though, and what I see is the team or the quarterback most likely to be drafted at number 2 if a team trades up is Will Levis. So that means Vegas is hearing something. On top of that, I think if they don't trade out of it, sounds like Tyree Wilson at number 2 overall could be something. So all I know is this. Vegas knows something. And for Vegas to know that and to see the odds change, to see odds change is one thing. To see them change that drastic and that quickly makes me wonder if Levis actually does think that he's going number 1 overall, or maybe he knows something that he's going to be potentially number 2. Coming up next here on the Raiders Report, how the Will Levis rumors help the Raiders out, because I'm not doing this show to talk about even more quarterbacks. No, I want to do this show, and I want to talk about Levis, and I want to talk about Stroud, because all of these things that happen, every team that picks in front of McDaniels and Ziegler come draft night, that impacts the Raiders, and I'm going to tell you why it's a good thing. If you don't already know, we're going to be live, so hit that subscribe button, and I hope you got your drinking pants on. Hopefully we got some lucky Irish going so the Raiders don't have another bad draft pick. But Jeremy Chuggs and I, we get the picks before you see them on TV. We have giveaways, tons of giveaways. We have ticket giveaways for the first Raiders game if you want to stay tuned in to check that out. All I'm saying is picks, hanging out with Raider Nation, and we're going to have them before TV, giveaways. I think I said it all. Hit that subscribe button. People who are some real ones that I know will be tuned in. Shout out to VT Holmes, Patrick B., Daryl Anderson, Christopher, and Michael Hyde. If you want to become a real one, subscribe to the Raiders Report, because we do say real one for life. So let's continue to rock and roll here with Will Levis and how the Will Levis rumors help out the Las Vegas Raiders. I can tell you right now, Silver and Black aren't interested in Will Levis. There was at times where it was reported don't buy it. So the fact that this quarterback, who the silver and black are not interested in, could potentially go this high, that's a good thing. Other good talent starts to slide down. The more and more players that the Raiders are not going to take at 7, the more that they get drafted higher than them, that means more and more talent continues to fall down. So if you're on the narrative of, hey, I would like the Raiders to trade back, that's good because guess what? More players slide down, better value a little bit later on. Trade back becomes easier. If CJ Stroud is there at 7, teams are going to be calling. If plethora of talent is available at 7, I do believe that people will come calling, whether that's the Tennessee Titans at 11, maybe it's the Commanders at 16, the New England Patriots at 14, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There was a report that came out that they could potentially trade up for a quarterback. Hell, I've seen things as crazy as the Minnesota Vikings all the way in the 20s could trade up. It also means that Stroud could be there at 7. And if McDaniels and Ziegler want to take a quarterback and they don't have to give up all the draft capital, it's there. And if Stroud's there at 7, I know we talked a lot about trading back if Will Levis was there, trading back if Anthony Richardson's there. If Stroud's there, to me, you're going to get even more because people can say what they want. Stroud's a much more, I'll say, pro-ready quarterback now than Anthony Richardson, than Will Levis, and honestly, I don't think it's close. Coming up next here, CJ Stroud will be there at pick 7. That's what the latest rumblings are right there. I know Raider Nation SMB said if he's there, it sounds like he might actually be there at pick number 7. Before I go into the latest around the Ohio State quarterback, friendly reminder that today's show is presented by Panda Subs. And if you've noticed, I've been working out a little bit more. I've been trying to cut down to get into shape, right? If I'm going to judge these players on trying to get into the best shape of their life, well, guess what? I'm going to try to do it as well. So if you don't already know, use code TEST, 25% off at pandasups.com. That link again for all of y'all is going to be available in the comments and in the description of today's video. So does anybody out there have a hard time, I don't know, getting to the gym? I know sometimes in the morning I have a little bit of a difficult problem to get there. The motivation, it might not be there. I also know that I don't burn fat the way I used to. I don't build muscle the way I used to when I was in my early 20s. If you take some tests, I promise you this, you're going to be able to build muscle strength. It's also going to improve your sex drive, and it's going to increase your energy levels. Welcome to the all-new Panda Test. Panda Test uses clinically dosed ingredients to naturally boost free testosterone levels and reduce stress hormones. So probably in the last 3 weeks, I've been using the test because I wanted to try it out, which I've used Panda Subs products before, and if you follow me on social media, you'll know that this is the only products that I use. But I mean it. I want y'all to give their products a try. I think you're really going to enjoy them, and especially this test. Not only is it going to be good for you, beach season's right around the corner, I think she's going to like it as well. So one more time here from the top rope, use code TEST for 25% off at pandasups.com. Shout out to Panda for sponsoring today's show. Diehard Raider fan. He's been here for over 2 years. If you want to support, Panda's the way to go. Let's look at CJ Stroud now and his stock. It continues to fall. There's a report out that he is no longer a surefire top 5 pick. Peter King, who's got some pretty good connections around the NFL, said that it's not even a lock to go within the top 7 picks, which is interesting because if you really follow all these rumors, reports, and I get it, there's a lot of rumors, a lot of reports out there, but to me, there's always a trail left behind. There are news stories out there that the Raiders aren't going to take a quarterback in the first round. Like, they're not going to take somebody with that first pick that they have. And Peter King, I know, knows a lot of people inside of that Raiders organization. So for him to specifically say that he's not even a lock to go within the top 7 picks, you should think top 7 picks and Raiders, which means he's heard something that if he's there at 7, the Raiders might actually pass on Stroud. Also, the S2 co-founder said that some of the results from the testing, because if you remember last week there was results that were leaked, and apparently Stroud finished in the 18th percentile. What if those weren't true? What if somebody's just leaking those for Stroud to go down. Remember, prime time smoke screen season. But when I looked at the latest CJ Stroud odds, okay, and what you're about to see here on screen is his likelihood of being the first overall pick, the second overall pick, third, fourth, and fifth, right? Y'all can read. So, to be the number one overall pick, third highest odds. The second overall pick, fourth highest odds. Third overall pick, second. Fourth overall pick, second, which to me, if Stroud goes in the top 5, I do think 3 and 4 is probably the most interesting spots. If the Raiders were to take him in the top 5, the fifth overall pick is starting to be one that I want y'all to pay attention to, because Seattle could be a team that is willing to trade back for cheap. Just something that I'm going to throw out there. To me, I do still believe that he's going to be a top 5 pick. I just think that every single year you see rumors, reports, all this stuff go. I might change my mind on this, though, if Will Levis is the second quarterback taken. I still think Stroud is the second QB taken. And yeah, last year was a little bit of a weird draft because you saw quarterback slide. Kenny Pickett was the very first QB taken at 20. This is a different year. It's a different class in general. I still think that Stroud is going to be a top 5 pick. I do not believe he's going to be there at 7 for the Raiders. However, this is the multi-million-dollar question. Do you want the Raiders to draft CJ Stroud at pick 7? He's there. He's on the board. McDaniels and Ziegler are shouting out from the rooftops. Help us out. Do you draft him or do you pass? My answer is this. If he is there at 7, I'd still rather the Raiders try to trade back. If nobody is willing to trade up for CJ Stroud, then it is a little bit of a different conversation. But even if that is the case, I still am going to pass on Stroud. Why? The Raiders, if you're going to take a quarterback, you should do everything in your power to go out and get Caleb Williams, Drake May in 2024 instead of taking Stroud. If you're going to take a quarterback in the top 10, you got to truly, truly believe that that is going to be your guy for the next 10 years. I will take Caleb Williams and Drake May as rookies in 2024 over a CJ Stroud who is going to sit behind Jimmy Garoppolo no matter what in 2023, and then you're basically getting a first-year starting quarterback in Stroud in 2024. Sure, he'd have 1 year learning the McDaniels system, but also the reason why I don't want that to happen with Stroud, because I don't want McDaniels and Ziegler to be locked in no matter what to 2024. If they were to take Stroud at 7, you let him sit behind Jimmy Garoppolo this upcoming season, which means your top draft pick you couldn't even use this year to win football games. If they take Stroud at 7, they have a job no matter what for next season. Because why would you then hand the keys to another head coach if you never even got to see your top quarterback play? So that means that they get another free year in 2023, and then 2024 would be their prove-it year. I do not want that to happen, and I also think that Stroud, when the quarterback's in this year's class and in next year's class, is the 4th best one. Sorry, I want defense, and a little bit more defense. Now, we are going to continue to look at some of the latest here around the Raiders in the NFL draft. Todd McShay had this to say on the Raiders drafting a QB in round 1. The Raiders explored a trade up to the number 1 for Young earlier this offseason, but after they were unable to get that done, everything I'm hearing now points to Vegas being out on the quarterbacks. So coming up here on the Raiders Report, 3 players that according to the latest, they love. And when I hear the word love, I get a little bit intrigued by it. It's not just because I'm on the test booster, but, you know, I'm pretty excited. I'll tell you who those 3 players are. But not only are Jeremy Jugs and I going to be live on the Raiders Report, we're also here at Chat Sports going to be having live draft coverage as well, starting Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you are a Raiders fan and you want to tune into our coverage, cool. But if you're, I don't know, watching at home and somebody's with you isn't a Raiders fan and they want to watch also draft coverage, guess what? We're here at the link down there below. We have been the number 1 most watched company with all of our draft channels for like 4 or 5 years combined when you add up all the views, and I plan on keeping it that way. Plus, we're going to do more prizes, more giveaways, and a whole bunch of other stuff on our other streams as well. So let's go to the Todd McShay report. According to McShay, the belief is the Raiders will target either Devon Witherspoon or Christian Gonzalez at 7. That is the latest report from Todd McShay that he sees the Raiders going with either Witherspoon or Gonzalez. For those of you that watch the show, these are the top 2 cornerbacks in the NFL draft. And I don't really think if the Raiders went with either of them, that it would be a bad pick. If they took Devon Witherspoon, I would be jumping for joy. Let's get this thing up and popping. If they went with Christian Gonzalez, same exact thing. That is an instant starting corner. In fact, I would make the argument it might be the best corner on your entire team. If that's the route that the Raiders want to go with, bet. Let's make it happen. Another report that came out from Albert Breer says that the Raiders love Devon Witherspoon and Peter Skoronski. If you have watched some recent mailbags, if you've watched this show in the last 2 months, I've been telling y'all, Peter Skoronski is a interesting and sneaky name to keep in mind for the Raiders at 7. He is the best offensive lineman in this year's class. He is a top 10 prospect. And is it a big need? No. Is he going to play offensive tackle? No. But I do think he is good enough to play a position, which I get it. He's never played guard. He's going to be good enough to play guard in the NFL, and that would really help make the Raiders' offensive line one of the best in the NFL. So in terms of this, being mentioned twice, I do think is interesting for Witherspoon. And if that's the route the Raiders go, let's make it happen. But I do have Witherspoon, Gonzalez, and Skoronski all in my top 10. All of those picks I would like. Yes, I would like the Skoronski pick less because he plays on the offensive side of the football, but the Raiders can't afford to miss in round 1. Witherspoon, Gonzalez, and Skoronski are players that I don't see missing at all in their NFL careers. All right, y'all. Jeremy, so today is East meets West Day, and I'll be honest, I didn't actually read to see what this was 100%. So
yeah, I know.
I did a little bit more research because Chugs made me. I said this. Who you got, East side or West side? I meant more this is from the United States side, not so much.
Yeah, this is just a precursor to say why we're asking this next question.
Correct.
If you want to know the reasoning for this day, it's when the Allied forces met, right there with Germany fighting and led towards the end of World War II. More historical side, if you want more on that, go follow Matthew Peterson on Twitter. He's got a whole synopsis of U.S.-Soviet relations.
And especially if you like stamps as well.
Yeah, if you like stamps or World War II, World War I, history, Petey's your guy.
I agree.
But for this question, best coast, who you got, East side, West side?
See, this is a hard one for me because I'm from the East.
East side?
I'm from the East side.
You're from Crab Cakes and Old Bay.
However, though, if you were to ask me what coast I would live on now, I would choose the West Coast.
Oh, I can't do it with this hand.
What? I can do West
side. I was gonna do it with this, but my hand's kind of.
Yeah, that looks painful, honestly. That's not good. Got a lot of West sides in there. El Loco repping the East. Raider Rob, Juan Hernandez. Believe me, I am not surprised whatsoever that this question on a Raiders channel is the West is dominating.
So, on to the next point. We told you, if you stuck around, if you were a real one watching today's show.
Correct.
We were going to tell you how you could win $100 on day 2 of the NFL draft.
I'm listening.
And this is how we're going to do it. We're doing a special promotion to push Manscaped products here at Chat Sports.
Correct.
So, all you got to do is you got to use our code RAIDERS at checkout, manscaped.com. Buy anything. You can buy the Lawnmower 4.0. They have, which I've been using, it's really good, the Beard Hedger. I've been using that. I'm going to probably do it before we go live.
The boxers are the most comfortable boxers you will purchase.
Yeah.
I can promise you.
I mean, there's the perfect package that comes with ball deodorant and ball toner. A lot of stuff that you can get over at Manscaped. But all you got to do is use code RAIDERS at checkout at manscaped.com. Email your receipt to Raiders at Chat Sports, and you are entered. Only the first 25.
There's a weigh-in. I moved it over. It should be at the very bottom. So essentially what we're doing here is this. It's going to be the first people that do it, you're going to be entered a chance to win $100. So essentially,
there we go.
Email me a receipt from Manscaped from a purchase from April. So if you're like, shit, Mitch, I just bought something a week ago, 2 weeks ago, it's all good. Send me the receipt. Raiders@chatsports.com. I want to say thank you to everyone who supports Manscaped. I want to say thank you to everyone who supports the
Tropical
Raiders
Remy
Report.
said ball toner. It's basically, do you ever have La Rosa right here on your inner cheeks, on your inner thighs, La Rosa? Little red, little chafing?
Yeah.
That helps with that.
It's also, I mean, think about it. If you put deodorant under your arms, you should have stuff down there so you don't stink as well.
You get an awesome product in Manscaped, whatever you get. I use the Lawnmower 4.0. I also use the new Beard Hedger. It's really great because if you use anything to shave your beard, the Beard Hedger has like a little dial that you can pick your guard basically. So you're not rummaging around trying to find a different guard. You just literally click it over to whatever guard you want.
No, I mean, I think all their products are great. So here you go. We're gonna. I think our boss said like the first 10 people who do it. So first 10 people.
Oh, I thought it was 20, but first 10. I mean,
First 10,
the
email me a
earlier you
receipt.
get it in,
Giggity.
the better chance you have of winning.
Yeah, that is a fact. So if you bought something in the month of April from Manscaped using code Raiders, and if you want to take advantage of it now,
You know what I'm talking
email me a
about,
receipt
guys.
from Manscaped.
You're on the
April.
beach.
Raiders at
6
chatsports.com.
hours. You're going through the water. You're walking down the boardwalk. You're doing whatever. You're just walking out. You're going to a lunch spot with your friends. You're walking around town. End of the day, you start doing the sidewalk. You know, like the.
I thought you were going to say the crab, but I was like,
You know what I'm talking about. It's a little tendy on the inner thighs, especially the bigger boys out there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Patrick Swayze said he needs taint toner. You could probably use it. You could probably use the exact same
Taint toner.
Taint toner. I love it. All right, y'all. So one more time for y'all. We will give this offer one, maybe two more times. But for the OGs, people who are watching on Tuesday, you have a chance to enter first. And like Jeremy said,
You have the best chance because we haven't told anybody yet. This is
Correct.
the first time we've told anybody about this giveaway.
that's correct. So enter now for a chance to win $100. We'll send you the money via Venmo or, I don't know, probably Cash App, PayPal, something like that. Speaking of where to hit me up on social media, if anybody ever wants to interact with me, you can hit me up Twitter, Instagram, and Cameo at Mitchell Renz 365. Also for the diehards, I was live on Locals last night and we did a mock draft. Shout out to Buddy Bear, Aaron. Thought we actually had a really good mock draft. So we're doing more later content. I'll be live for those of you watching this tomorrow night, Wednesday. We'll probably do some more. Might even do another mock draft. I don't even know, depending on what you guys want. So tune into that. People who have been retweeting a lot of my content on Twitter, obviously. Free Fly Jedi, Menace, my guy Martin, David, and TY in Missouri, I'm going to guess.
Martine!
So if you want to shout out here on the show and you retweet the videos that I post, best chance to do it. Here you go. For a shout out on the show, hit me up, Instagram and Twitter.
And the best chance to get on this mailbag that's coming up is hashtag Raiders or Super Chat.
Here we go. So
It's also the only way to get on the mailbag.
Correct. I was going to say, I don't, unless there's another way. Unless
that's the only
I think
way.
that's the only way, yeah.
That's the only way.
I'm going to be answering your questions for the next 15 minutes or so. And then after that, our final Raiders mock draft. It's kind of sad. It's making me tear up a little bit. It's been I love mock draft season, but I'll tell you this right now. In the I did the draft here at Chat Sports in 2018, 2019, 2020, 21, 22. This will be the 6th year of me covering the draft here at Chat Sports. This is by far the most excited I've been for a draft ever. It's not. I mean, it's not close.
I was about to say, and it's not even close.
I mean it.
I'm going to try to use the Super Chats that came in the past 10 minutes to start off our mailbag. Cool. This one doesn't really or I guess it does kind of make sense for the mailbag.
Yeah, we can do it.
We can go to it.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we'll kick that off because it'll make sense. It'll make sense. All right, so it's going to be time now to get into today's mailbag. So to the 750 people tuned in right now, if you want to be featured here on the Raiders Report, hashtag Raiders or Super Chat, get those questions and comments on the show show presented by, nope.
Sponsored. Yep.
Right.
Ooh.
We got it. Here we go. Coming up.
1 second.
Glug, 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 glug.
It's fun, right?
No, but for the bit. I'll do it for the bit.
Anything for the bit. All right.
You good?
I think I'm ready.
Actually.
Oh, there we go. Glug, 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 glug. Very good.
It's fun, isn't it?
I love it.
No, I know. Anytime you get a good chance to glug, I know you're always down.
Glugging, top 5.
DTG?
I'm down to glug.
I figured you are. All right.
Danny loves to glug.
You think you could glug corn the long way?
Probably.
I have confidence in you. All right, it's mailbag time. Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, and if you want to get featured on a mailbag, what do? You got to watch us live. This video was recorded on Tuesday, so use hashtag Raiders or to Super Chat to be featured during our mailbags. This first one is rolling in from Eric M. When are we doing the Tri-Van jersey giveaway? Day 1 of the NFL draft. So round 1, for those of you that are watching, you got to be tuned in to our coverage, which will start probably like 90 minutes, 100 minutes, I don't even know, right before the NFL draft. We're going to be doing a raffle, so if you want a chance to get your jersey on the Raiders Report, shout out to Lucky Irish, you got to enter the raffle. Let's go to Papaya Man 89. Where there is smoke, there's a fire. Raiders trade up to 3 and draft Bryce Young. Texans take Will Anderson at 2. So that means you think Will Levis is going 1, Will Anderson at 2. If Bryce Young's there at 3, then honestly, I think even if Bryce Young's there at 2, I think that's where you see the Raiders potentially try to trade up. Let's go to Jeremy's burner. I say we take a risk with Jalen Carter all D draft. I said this the other day when I was on Graphic Raiders show. For other teams not named the Raiders, you can take a risk with Jalen Carter. I just think when you look at all of the failures that the Silver and Black have had in round 1, you probably should try to stay away from the guy that's got all the off-the-field issues. Is he a great player on the field? Yeah, nobody's ever going to dispute that. But you can't afford to miss. So because of that, Jalen Carter might not be the player that you should pursue. Let's go to Raider Nation for Life, SMB. Would you draft Will Anderson if he's there at 7? As much as I like Christian Gonzalez, as much as I like Devon Witherspoon, I like Will Anderson, and I would take Will Anderson at 7. Is it as big of a need? No. Do I think some people are overthinking the fact that he's had a little bit more of a down year this past season? Yeah, he also got double-teamed a lot more. Oh, but he doesn't have as much bend. I don't give a shit. If you told me for the next 5 years I'd have Max Crosby and Will Anderson as my edges, sounds like I'm going to be feeling pretty good about myself. How about this, though? What player do you believe is the most likely picked by the Raiders with the number 7 pick? I want to know from all of you that are watching this live, and if you're not watching this live, then let me know. You know what? We're going to make this the pinned comment on today's show. Which player is the most likely picked by the Raiders with the number 7? And after the YouTube ad break, I'm going to give you my answer. I'm a big fan of looking at odds. I'm a big fan of looking at reports. I'm also a fan of looking to my sources, talking about needs. If I were to make you a list right now of the players most likely to be drafted by the Raiders at 7, I would say Devon Witherspoon is at 1. Number 2 is Christian Gonzalez. And then number 3 is Peter Skoronski. Let's go to the Nar Shredder. Stroud wore number 7, just saying. Hope we trade back, though. Yeah, I would imagine he'd probably get number 7 as well if he was drafted by the Raiders at 7. I'm in agreement, though. I want the Raiders to trade back. Still way too many holes for this team, especially on the defensive side of the football. Go defense, defense, and some more defense. Shredder, what's up, brother? I see mocks that have us taking an offensive lineman. I would rather just trade back in that case or just go defense. I agree. I really like Peter Skoronski as an overall prospect. For people that think that the Raiders are going to take an offensive tackle like Paris Johnson Jr., that I don't 100% see because Skoronski is a much better player. Yes, Skoronski played left tackle at Northwestern. He's going to end up being a guard, I believe, because of his arms. To me, though, he's one of the most surefire prospects in this year's class. I would be shocked, but I wouldn't because McDaniels just seems to only want to help out the offensive side of the football. Let's go to one of our real ones here. Patrick B., what's up, my brother? We need to build our roster and defense in particular. Quarterback is not on the top of our board, and it shouldn't be. Much bigger needs that will help us win now that need to be filled. Defensive tackle, linebacker, and corner. If the Raiders are able to come out of this draft with pick 7, 38, and pick 70 with a defensive tackle, a linebacker, and a cornerback, I think you would be really, really ecstatic. The problem is with defensive tackle, the defensive tackles I like are usually not on the board at 38, and then they're also not quite available at 70. The Raiders have plenty of defensive needs. We know that, being Raider fans. Let's go to Dylan. Wish me luck, boys. Proposing to my girlfriend after 2 years this weekend. Hopefully she's not watching the show. Do we take Stroud if he falls to 7? Do we take Stroud at 7? I do not think so. And I want everyone right now to wish Dylan some good luck. Proposing to the girlfriend after 2 years. I guess you're going to have to give us an update. Hopefully. It's a good update. That's all I can ask for, Dylan. No? I know. Oh, Dylan, good luck to you, my brother. I don't know about you. Sometimes I know when people get a little bit worked up, they might have a drink or two to calm it down. Well, if you're going to have a few drinks during the NFL draft, I do think that you should definitely get some Z-Biotics. I know Chugs and I are going to be chugging some Z-Biotics, no doubt about it. Remember to use promo code CHAT. You're going to get 15% off. And I'll tell you this right now. Anytime I have used Z-Biotics in the past when we've done happy hour shows, it's been great. So promo code ChatSports for 15% off. Let's face it, after y'all hit me with a bunch of super chats, I don't bounce back well the next day. That is until I found Z-Biotics. Z-Biotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Z-Biotics produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. It's designed to work like your liver, but in your gut, where you need it the most. Drink Z-Biotics before drinking alcohol. Drink responsibly and get a good night's sleep to feel your best tomorrow. Give Z-Biotics a try for yourself. Go to zbiotics.com/chatsports to get 15% off your first order when you use code ChatSports at checkout. Z-Biotics is backed with a 100% money-back guarantee, so if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember to head to zbiotics.com/chatsports and use code ChatSports at checkout for 15% off. Thank you, Z-Biotics, for sponsoring today's Raiders Report. So step 1, have a Z-Biotic. Step 2, drink responsibly. Maybe a boot. And then number 3, enjoy tomorrow. Chugs, I hope y'all are ready to be partying with Chugs and I during the draft. We're going to be doing it responsibly. We're going to be having a good time. We're also going to be using Z-Biotics. Let's go to Raider Rob, 1969. Who's your pick? Forbes, Banks, Ringo, or Cam Smith? Second-tier cornerbacks can't wait until the draft. If I had to pick between these guys, it's Deonta Banks, but that's because, to me, he's not quite in that second tier. Deonta Banks is actually now more in that Joey Porter Jr. range to me, where there's tier 1, which is Devon, Witherspoon, and Chris Gonzalez, and then I would say tier 2 is Deonta Banks, Joey Porter Jr., and then there's that other tier, which is some of the guys that you're bringing up right now. If you want an overall athlete, you go Kelee Ringo. You want to go with the upside in Forbes, because if he can add a few more pounds, he's going to be somebody to look out for. Cam Smith, also a good player. Out of these 3 names, though, I will go with Emmanuel Forbes. Let's go to Cameron Sproul. Watch some video from the 1970 Raiders. Can't wait to get back on top. Just win, baby. Oh, man. The only problem with the 70s defense is you can't play defense like that anymore because the amount of flags that would be flying out there. But I hope that the Raiders can have a competent defense. I mean, I'm just so sick and tired of watching bad defense, bad play. If I got to go through another year what I went through last year from a offensive collapsing standpoint and the defense just not being able to make stops when it did matter, it's going to be a long year, man. Let's go to Stoke for Life Foundation. Showing love to the Raiders Report. Much love to you, Stoke. Let's go to B-Rabe. Raiders trade back. Draft Witherspoon at 16. Will not be there. Cansey at 33. Will not be there. Washington, I think Darnell Washington at 38. Gibbs at 47. B-Ray, I'm going to be honest with you, man. I'm not really sure where this is. So what he ended up doing here is he did a trade back. 33, you're right, is Texans. 47 and 16 is Commanders. B-Ray, I don't know where you got this from, but if you're doing a mock draft, I would say use somebody else because this is, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, B-Ray. Appreciate the comment, though. Todd, can't miss another first rounder if the quarterback ain't Bryce Young. Pass. I don't disagree with you. I do not disagree. Like, you would literally have to have Bryce Young almost fall into your lap for me to do it. If not, trade back or just take defense. The Raiders need some defense, for the love of God. Eric, can't see Hooker or Mozzie in the second. What do the Raiders do? Kalijah Cansey will not be there available in the second round. I don't see a world where he is there in round 2. Now, maybe if Jalen Carter just slides down the board, it forces all the defensive tackles to go down. But if it's between the DTs, I'll take Cansey over Mozzie. And then with Hendon Hooker, honestly, I'd rather take Mozzie Smith over Hendon Hooker at 38. So Cansey, the clear guy, but he's going to go in round 1. What's up, Derek? If the Raiders trade back in round 1, who do you think it will be with, and what will the Raiders get? In terms of what will they get, it really just depends who's available and who's on the board. I would say the team's most likely to trade back with the Raiders. Titans at 11. I'll say the Patriots at 14, Commanders at 16, and then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Those would be the top teams to potentially trade back. If the Raiders do make a trade, well, hopefully you're watching the show with Jeremy Chuggs and I. We're going to be live for every pick of the 2023 NFL Draft. We will get the picks before you see them on television. We got tons of giveaways. Hopefully you got your drinking pants on. Shout out to Z-Biotics. It's going to be one hell of a show. Make sure you subscribe and got those noties turned on. Let's go to Stoke. I think this time he got it right. I thought this said Catfish. Is Kalijah Cansey too much of a reach at 7? Character and tape speak volumes about this kid. I love Kalijah Cansey. And what's funny is you can go back 3 months ago and I was talking about this defensive tackle from Pitt and how loved him, would love for the Raiders to get him. I did a mock draft where I got him at pick 70. Obviously, that's not going to happen anymore. And as much as I love Cansey, pick 7's a reach. Pick 7 I will not do. If you can trade back and you can get him in the middle of round 1, but you're also able to stockpile, then I'm a little bit more okay with that. But that's a little bit too rich for me, and that's me knowing the Raiders need a defensive tackle and really loving Kalijah Cansey. Let's go to Hail to the Raider. Is Jalen Carter an option for the Raiders at 7? Is he an option? Yes. Will the Raiders take him? I have absolutely no idea. I don't know how the draft board's going to fall, but from my understanding and the people that I talk to, there is not a single player that the Raiders have crossed off their board. So if I know people are going to be like, oh, Vic Tafer was right, the Raiders didn't take Carter at 7 if he's there. No, he's not. I think they just have other players that they maybe are willing to take because it's less risk. So is he an option? Yes. My question to you is because from a talent standpoint alone, Jalen Carter, you can make the argument, is the best player in this year's draft. It also fits arguably the biggest team need for the Silver and Black. So do you want the Raiders to draft Jalen Carter if he's there at 7? Give me a yes. Give me a no. Let's go to Eric. DJ Turner is my number 3 cornerback. Trade back, get Pitt defensive tackle in the first, Turner in the second, and a linebacker in the second. I think you mean, okay, so you're saying by trading back, you're going to get another second-round pick. I like DJ Turner. He's definitely not my 3rd. And the only reason why I say that is because when you watch the tape on Turner, he's not the number 3 best corner. The reason why Turner's stock has skyrocketed since college football has ended is because he's just such a good athlete. So what have we seen since college football has ended? Pro days, the combine. That's why Turner's stock has risen. He's a good corner, no doubt about it. I'd say he's probably off the top of my head 7 or 8 on my list, but I get it. People like DJ Turner a lot. I'm not willing to take him, though, as the number 3 corner. And if you think he's the number 3 corner, I think he might go in the top 20. Let's go to Jersey Boy Greaser. Do you think Jacobs gets traded? No. And if he does, we should trade with the Texans, Lions, or Seahawks to get a high first round and get both Gonzalez and Skoronski. Problem is, if the Raiders trade Jacobs, from people who I talk to, I don't think you're getting a first. In fact, I'd be shocked if the Raiders got a first. If the Raiders traded Jacobs, they would be selling low. Like, second-round pick. Like, if you got a second and a fourth, that might be the highest you get with Jacobs. Like, trading up with these teams and Jacobs being involved, it's not going to be what you think it is. I can promise you that. Let's go to Robert. Is the unlikely event that Stroud, Skoronski, Gonzalez, and Witherspoon all available at 7, do we trade back and up to try to get 2 of those non-Strouds? It's an intriguing thought. I mean, if all these players are on the board, I would trade back. If Gonzalez and Witherspoon are there, I'm okay trading back. Like, I want the Raiders to be able to add more plethora of talent. And then could they potentially trade up? Sure. Dave Ziegler and the Raiders last year had 6 picks. They traded 5 times. This year he got 12. You ready for 11 trades? I don't know about you. I'm ready. If you want to watch the draft with Chat Sports, you can do it. Not only are Jeremy and I going to be live on our Raiders channel, well, guess what? We're also going to have live draft coverage on our main YouTube channel here at Chat Sports. So if you don't want it just from an overarching Raiders angle and you want it more from like a NFL analysis for every team, this is the place to be, starting at Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. The link is below. Hopefully you join us. A lot more giveaways as well over here. A lot of other Super Chat ideas and all the crazy shit we do at Chat Sports. Let's go to Muhammad. What's up, brother? Mitch, I am excited for the draft. I just hope we don't do a Cleveland Furl and reach at 7. I hope so too, man. Luckily, though, you don't have Mayock and you don't have John Gruden, who will go down in the history books as one of the worst head coach, general manager combinations of all time, being able to analyze talent. I mean, that's just the truth. They were that bad. When people tell me, Mitch, you've never worked in the NFL, or when people say, oh, you don't know, you've never played, the fact that Mayock and Gruden were head coaches, the fact that Gruden won a Super Bowl and he was still that bad, proves to me that any single person watching the show and anybody who does what I do can absolutely be an NFL GM or head coach. Why? Because sometimes the guys that are doing it, they ain't good at it either. Let's go to Cameron. Mitch, who is your steal pick of this draft for the Raiders? Steal pick, I'll do this based off of overall talent. I'll do it based on overall team need and where I think that they could potentially go. I like Dorian Williams a lot from Tulane. He's a really intriguing prospect. The Raiders met with him. I also love Corey Trice, the cornerback out of Purdue. He's a fun prospect to me. Mafi, the offensive guard from UCLA, if you're able to get him late, could be an intriguing guy. I also like Jamie Robinson, the safety out of Florida State. Gervarius Owens is a safety I like a lot out of Houston. If he were to be a 7th-round pick, good special teams player. What do you think? Is that enough? Let's go to Patrick. Dave Z is going to show us his skills in the draft. This will make or break his career. Day 1 starters is a must. This draft will make or break Dave Ziegler and Josh McDaniels. And I really, really hope I am wrong in saying that I don't trust those two. And I really hope that the Raiders can win some games, because that's all I care about, the Raiders winning some freaking games. Now, if you don't already know, you can always follow me on Twitter. If I didn't get to your question, you can hit me up on IG. I'm at Mitchell Renz 365. So, appreciate everyone who's tuning in. Friendly reminder, again, we will be live for the NFL draft starting early on Thursday. So make sure you're tuning in and watching all of our draft coverage. Super chat coming in from Rebel. When is Jeremy going to eat corn the long way? I'll tell you this right now.
You'd like to know that, wouldn't you, Rebel?
I'll tell you this right now. Tune in to the NFL draft.
That's all I got to say.
We got corn.
Do we butter it up?
I don't know.
I'm going to bring in some butter.
We could use the ranch ice cream. There's nothing better than corn the long way with some ranch ice cream. Sounds creamy.
Dude, that sounds good.
Oh, boy.
I'm down for that.
Corn the long way during the draft.
Speaking of ranch ice cream, it's actually National Zucchini Bread Day.
My question to you is, do you like zucchini bread? I think if you were to ask somebody who's never had it, they'd probably say no. I look at zucchini bread the same way I look at carrot cake. If you've ever had zucchini bread with like an icing, shit's actually fire. I love carrot cake. Zucchini bread can get it. I'm all about it.
Zucchini bread with warm with butter?
If you turn anything into a dessert, I'm probably going to eat it. If you think it just tastes like zucchini, then yeah, you probably won't like it. El Loco says, actually, yes. Jeffrey, yes. Raider Rob, no.
It really doesn't taste like zucchini.
It tastes nothing. It tastes like bread. It tastes like a dessert.
Yeah.
It tastes like a muffin. If you make it the right way. Banana bread with walnuts, absolutely from Cameron. I'll take banana bread over zucchini bread, but zucchini bread to me is very good.
Zucchini bread can get it.
And if you need to get your vegetables in, this is probably one of the better ways to do it. So, zucchini bread. Secretly, yes, from B-Rape. It's not a secret anymore, B. King Sanchez, fire. Clarence, yes. Tropical Remy, what's up, my guy? Rebel Montana, hell yeah, eat it the long way. Mm-hmm. Are we talking about the corn or the zucchini bread? What would be more difficult?
B-Rabe, no nuts and carrot cake.
Really?
I've only had carrot cake with nuts.
Yeah. I actually thought about bringing in a nut carrot cake for the office and giving it to Sam.
Well, you know from how he was raised, he would not be able to take that.
I think Brett's actually saying yes. He's pointing directly at Sam and saying, give him the carrot cake.
Well, I was about to say, Tyler made a lot of accusations about how Sam was raised.
I'll tell you this.
A lot of, while Sam was in the other room, a ton of accusations about how you were raised.
About how I was raised?
How you were raised.
Why is that?
Ask Tyler Jones.
What did he have? Tyler.
No,
Tyler, come in here.
Not a conversation here.
Go ask Tyler what he said about how you were raised.
So he's got a theory with your nut allergy.
Yeah, he's got a nut allergy theory.
He's got a theory. So, all right, let's go to the final Raiders mock draft.
Is that what I'm understanding?
What?
That I should have been eating peanuts like growing up?
Close.
Not
You
quite.
should have been drinking something else.
I don't know.
I'm not eating peanuts. That's what you're going for. There's no super
I don't want you to eat peanuts. Though it would take a serious payday for him to do it.
Well, I know that you have an audience that's
What about for what? What about for what Tyler was saying? How much of a super chat for that?
that's true. Well, adrenaline's adrenaline. It'll work no matter what.
A payday?
Tyler was basically saying the reason why you're allergic
to nuts.
Might be because you weren't breastfed. That's what Tyler said.
If you want to know what we talk about here at Chat Sports, there you go.
Tyler says he eats nuts all the time and he has no problem.
One, that's not how that works.
Not according to Tyler.
Two, if we're really going off of a lot of what Tyler says, we're in trouble.
You're not wrong.
If you want to find out more about what Mitch says, you can follow him on his social media.
Thank you. Any of these places are available. Locals, Twitter, Instagram, Cameo. At Mitchell Renz 365. I think there's only one way to settle this breastfeeding debate. How much for you to let Sam suck on a teeth? No. All right, got a super chat coming in from Cameron. Mitch, what will you and Chugs do if the Raiders blow this draft? Stay positive.
I already asked Mitch.
I'm staying positive.
I already asked Mitch, what is he doing if the Raiders take Will Levis at 7?
I will have a meltdown. I'm telling you right now. I remember the Alex Leatherwood pick, and I just shambles. I remember the Damon Arnett pick. That was probably the one I was the most upset about.
What about the Cleveland Furl pick?
Well, Cleveland Furl is like right when, I think that was the first year I was actually live during the draft. I was with Tom on our Chat Sports coverage. And that one happened, did not love it. But
oh, Joseph C., he has a question for you as well.
To be honest, I have no idea.
Can you eat nuts?
I can.
Then yes.
There we go. No, I don't think I was.
Are you sure?
No.
Text your dad and ask him real quick. I know he's watching.
I mean,
I saw him chat earlier. Rich, if you're in the chat, let us know. Was Mitch breastfed?
I don't think I was. I really don't.
Rich, we need to know. These are the questions we need to know.
But if you could, please use #Raiders. That way we see it. I'm just kidding. All right, we got, those are all the supers. Let's get into this, Mom.
Your dad just learned to comment this year. I don't know, throwing in the hashtag Raiders, it's going to totally F him up.
I'll tell you what, if he throws in an emoji, Dad, use the milk emoji.
Oh, he said no! He said
I
no!
was going to say, I don't think I was.
Tyler, your theory debunked.
I was just going to say, I don't think I was. I really don't. There we go. Confirmed.
Mitch, I remember. I was there.
No, I don't remember how this conversation happened before, but I just remember my mom saying that I wasn't breastfed. I don't know.
And you don't know. You don't remember why.
I know the reason. To be honest, this might be TMI, but it is what it is. I had a certain family member who was breastfed until they were like an inappropriate age. Not on my dad's side, on my mom's side. And that conversation got brought up, and I still remember it. What's an inappropriate age?
In the chat, what's an inappropriate age to still be being breastfed?
I can tell you the number.
Let me know.
It's too high.
We'll get back to you in a second. Let me know in the chat, what do you think is the 25, 14, 6, 5, beyond 2, walking 2, 90. Nice, crypto. 2, 3, 14, after 4, 16, 2.
Jeff's comment?
Jeff?
Were you boot fed? I love that. Yeah, all right, so.
What's the number?
6.
6?
6 years old. I mean, it was too old. Too old. Had to have a sit down.
If you can ask for it, too old.
Yeah, if you're taking a suck out of a tea and then you're taking a bite out of a cookie, too old. And we're ready. All right.
All right.
Yep.
Here we go. Final mock draft here on the Raiders Report. Let's get into it.
All right, hang on. I need
You don't want to know what's in that bottle.
It's milk.
Oh God.
I'm not gonna lie. We might have to do like I was gonna say like a milk chug, but that might be bad. I tried to do the gallon challenge before. Not great. Didn't work. All right, final mock draft. Who's ready? You guys ready to mock out?
I'm ready.
You ready?
I think I'm ready.
All right, let's get this thing going right now. Our final Raiders mock draft of 2023. Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, and it's kind of sad, but I'm also really excited to say that this will be my final Raiders mock draft of 2023. But today's show is presented by Panda Sups, and use code TEST for 25% off at pandasups.com. I want you to try out their brand new test booster, whether you're trying to get more out of your workout or think she's going to like it too. Link's going to be in the comments and in the description of today's video. So the NFL draft is on Thursday, and Jeremy Chuggs and I are going to be live for the entire thing. If you're wondering where I ran this mock draft simulation, I did it on PFF. I also made some trades. So the trades that you're going to see, I will walk you through each and every one of them. So as it stands right now, the Las Vegas Raiders have 12 picks in total. They have number 7 overall, got number 38, 2/3, a 4th, 3/5, 2 6s, and 2 7s. Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler have a lot to work with. The way that I did this draft, I really tried to stock up on needs and really build the defense. So let's look at the draft. Here's how the Raiders mock ended up going. Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Devon Witherspoon were the top 3 picks. Then Will Levis, Jalen Carter, Will Anderson Jr., the edge out of Alabama. So I know a lot of times when we do this show, we always talk about, let's trade back, let's do that. Well, sometimes the trades that you are given, you don't necessarily love. And I'll be real with y'all, I wanted to try to trade back. And I didn't love the value of this trade that I got because I was trying to get this without giving up a 3rd. Washington would not do it. However, I said, okay, I wanted a 1st-round pick in 2024. And the reason why I was willing to do this trade is because for the quarterback that Washington ended up trading up for, if I'm sitting here saying Anthony Richardson with the Commanders, that could be such a disaster that turns out to be a top 5 pick. So I was willing to take a bet in this scenario because, yeah, I had to move back a few spots, but I got an extra second rounder, and I got a first round pick that I legitimately think could be a top 5 overall pick. So what I want to know from all of you is this. Who wins this trade? If you think it's the Washington Commanders, type WAS. If you think it's the Raiders, type LV. If the quarterback turns out to be a success, Washington wins it. If Anthony Richardson can't lead the Commanders to a legitimate season, then guess what? The Raiders win this trade. So let's keep on walking you through how this mock draft ended up going down. The Commanders, they went up. They took Richardson. The Falcons got Peter Skoronski. Paris Johnson goes off the board of the Bears. Bijan Robinson, number 10 of the Philadelphia Eagles. Jackson Smith and Jigba to Tennessee. Nolan Smith, Chris Gonzalez, Tyree Wilson, Broderick Jones, which means at the number 16th pick in my final Raiders mock draft, I am going to go with, he is undersized, but it fits a big-time team need, and I know Patrick Graham loves him from coaching him at the Senior Bowl. It's Calijah Kancey. When I look at Kancey overall as a prospect, is 16 a little bit higher than where I have him on my big board? Yes, it is. But in terms of crossing off a big-time need, which right now defensive tackle is a huge need. Is he Aaron Donald? No. Did they both go to Pitt? Yes. Are they both undersized? Yes. But to me, Kancey is the second best defensive tackle in this year's class. And I also went this route because I had a gut feeling that I was going to be able to get a good cornerback a little bit later on with one of those 2 second-round picks that I have. In terms of what Dane Brugler has to say on Kancey, it's this. Overall, Kancey's undersized frame and average strength will be more pronounced versus NFL blockers, especially in the run game. But his get-off, agility, and quick hands allow him to leverage gaps and disrupt backfield. Although not quite on Donald's level as a prospect, parallels are encouraging, and he projects as a starting 3 tech. I went based on team need, and I went on a player that I'd be willing to bet on, and that is Calijah Kancey. Let's go to round 2 now. Pick number 38 in my final Raiders mock draft. And remember, this is all a simulation through PFF. Yes, I already ran the simulation, but I was curious on how you thought this mock ended up going down. So at pick number 38, I'm going to go with a cornerback here, and it's Emmanuel Forbes. I had the opportunity to pick between Forbes and Keely Ringo. I decided to go with Emmanuel. Now, there are some people out there that are really worried about his size, and he has apparently already put on 15 pounds. It sounds like he's up to 180, where some people were saying he was like 160 when the season ended. If you want a ball hawk, you want somebody that's going to be able to make some plays, Forbes is your guy. 46 tackles, 6 INTs, 11 PBUs. And if you want to say, okay, we get him in the weight room, put on some extra weight, then yeah, Forbes has got some upside. This is what Brugler has to say. Overall, Forbes' rail-thin build and marginal play strength are concerns, along with his aggressiveness tendencies. But he is light-footed and long with the mental processor and confidence to be an NFL playmaker. NFL teams willing to overlook his slightness will find a damn good player, and I agree with that. Let's now go to round 2, pick 47. So I went defensive tackle. I was able to get a good cornerback, and remember, when you look at this mock, I am also getting a first-round pick in 2024. So with this being where I was at, the reason why I went with cornerback is because there were 3 linebackers that I was okay to take at 47 if available. The linebackers there were Jack Campbell, Drew Sanders, and then Deion Henley. I was happy to get my number 1 overall linebacker at pick 47, Drew Sanders out of Arkansas. I will continue to say this is the best overall linebacker in the class. I know PFF likes Jack Campbell more. If Campbell would have been here, cool, would have taken him. If Henley, who was on the board, I took Sanders over top of him. Brugler has this to say on the Arkansas Razorback. Overall, Sanders must become a more skilled tackle finisher and take on player, but he offers intriguing versatility as a do-everything front seven defender thanks to his size and athletic range. He is an ascending player with the talent to be a matchup linebacker and an occasional pass rusher in the NFL. The key word when you look at Sanders is versatile. He can do a lot of things really well, and realistically, that's what this Raiders team needs. Does he need to improve as a tackler? Yes. Can he get after the QB? He showed you that, 9.5 sacks. He also has the ability to cover, and the Raiders need somebody like that. So the fact that I started our draft with Cansey, a corner in Forbes, and Drew Sanders, I think you're going to like how this mock turns out. Now, if you don't already know, we're going to be live every pick during the 2023 NFL Draft. You will get the picks before you see them on TV, so please subscribe. Join our shows. We're going to be doing ticket giveaways for the first home opener. On top of that, jersey giveaways, tons and tons of stuff. So please watch the Raiders Report for our draft content. Friendly reminder, we traded away pick 70 to the Commanders, which means our only third-round pick is the pick that we got in the Darren Waller trade. And I'm going to go with another player that I like a lot. And upside is 100% there. It's Purdue cornerback Corey Trice. 6'3", 215 pounds. And he's long, he's athletic, and he has that upside that I know the Raiders are really going to covet. Overall, Trice might never be a high-level technician, but he has the exceptional size, speed, and change of direction skills to be a disruptive cover man both early and late in the rep. He offers positional versatility with starting potential in press man or cover 3 schemes. The Raiders this season, when it comes to corners, they're going to look, obviously for the versatility word, but press man corner. They want more press man, and Corey Trice has that ability, which is why I was happy with this pick. So the next 4 picks here in my Raiders mock, round 4, 109, and then your 3 fifth-round picks at 141, 144, and 174. But guess what? I got another trade here. This is what the New Orleans Saints offered me. The Saints, they get pick 109. In return, they get a 6th-round pick at 204. What did I do? I moved back a few spots in the 4th round at 115, but I jumped up a bunch of spots in the 5th round at 146. If the Raiders were to make this trade on draft night, how would you feel? It's day 3. I know for me personally, I was really trying to find another way to get a little bit higher, whether it be in the 4th, whether it be in the 5th, but I was ultimately okay with this deal. But hey, you can let me know, Raiders or Saints. For me, I was really excited to get Dorian Williams here in round 4, pick 115. Overall, the more and more tape I start watching on this kid, the more and more I start to like him. 131 tackles for the Green Wave, 5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. In fact, when I put out a video on my top 30 prospect visits that the Raiders had, I had Dorian Williams too low. I started watching more and more film on those top 30 overall prospects. If you want somebody, I'm going to throw out, the Raiders for a long time feel like they've been looking for a linebacker that can play safety, right? You have Divine Diablo, you had Tanner Muse. Dorian Williams is also a very similar mold in that, which is why I like his fit here. Overall, you wish Williams played with better anticipation, but once he sees it, he gets there in a hurry and has the tools desired for a modern-day developmental linebacker. He has the profile of a key special teamer with the talent to eventually compete for NFL starting reps. I will tell you this right now. He will be a very good special teams player in the NFL, and that's going to get him on rosters. If he can turn out and he can learn some of that anticipation and can learn how to read offenses a little bit better, Dorian Williams is going to be one hell of a player in the NFL. Let's go to round 5, pick 141. And remember, I got 41, 44, and 46 here. I really wanted Zach Kuntz. He went at 139. I'm not shitting you. So here I'm going to go with another player that I am starting to like more and more as well. Yasir Abdullah, 6'1", 242 pounds out of Louisville. Good edge rusher. To me, this would be probably your Malcolm Kuntz replacement. Kuntz isn't a McDaniels and Ziegler guy. If they take an edge rusher at this point in the draft, That's going to be your Kuntz replacement. And in terms of why you guys should like Yasir, overall, Abdullah has some tweener traits and will be asked to play more in reverse in the NFL than he was in college. But his read-react athleticism and finishing skills are solid base skills for a linebacker. His ideal role in the NFL is an off-ball linebacker and pass rush specialist in sub-packages. Bring him in when it's third down, let him pin his ears back, and get after the quarterback. Let's go to now 144, which the more and more I started looking at players here, I didn't love my selection. I'll be 100% with you. However, before I tell you who I took at round 5, 144, reminder today's show is presented by our good friends, Panda Sups. And if you haven't tried, I use their protein. I use their BCAAs. I got their creatine. I use their fat burn. Hell, Chugs and I took a fat burn before today's show. But what I want you to try is their brand new test booster. And use code TEST at 25% off at pandasups.com. When you go to the gym, I want you to get the most out of your workout. If you're there for 45 minutes, crush it. If you're there for an hour, crush it. Here's the thing. You use the test booster, you're going to get more bang for your buck. Now, if you don't already know, Panda Sups, the owner, is a big-time Raiders fan. And if anybody out there is looking for a natural way to build muscle, improve sex drive, build your strength, and increase your energy levels, well, I need you to check out the all-new Panda Test. Panda Test uses clinically dosed ingredients to naturally boost free testosterone levels and reduce stress hormones. On top of that, she's going to like it too. I feel always dumb saying that out loud, but it's just the truth, right? I know some people out there, you might not feel the way you did, I don't know, when you were in your 20s. Maybe you go to the gym all the time and you're not seeing the results. Well, it could be because your testosterone levels are low. All I ask Raider fans is this. We give you a promo code, test it out, try it. If you like it, guess what? I think you're going to continue to use those products. I've been using Panda for, I don't even know, a year now. I've been using this test for a good month. I have seen solid results. So use code TEST, 25% off. Link available for you guys in the comments and in the description of today's video. Let's go to round 5, pick 144. I told y'all I really wanted Zach Kuntz. Unfortunately, he was off the board. So I'm going to go with another tight end that I have ranked highest on my board / based on team needs. I see the Raiders taking a tight end. I'm going to go with Davis Allen here out of Clemson. I'll be honest, it's not a sexy pick. Yeah, it's just... he's a tight end that the Raiders could use with O.J. Howard. 39 catches, 443 yards, 5 touchdowns. Though, I am curious to see what he would look like in an offense that's not ran by a garbage quarterback. From what Brugler has to say, Allen isn't overly dynamic as a receiver, but his body control and catch radius are among the best in this tight end draft class, and he shows real promise as a blocker. With his talent and character, he has intriguing developmental potential. Because of all those reasons of what Brugler laid out is why I could see the Raiders taking him. Good blocker, has talent, high character player, good in the red zone. There you go. Now, because of the trade that we made, we have pick 146 here. And I'm going to go back to the defensive side of the football with a player that the Raiders met with a top 30 visit. Safety, Daniel Scott. 6'2", 215-pounder. For the Cal Bears, 85 tackles, 3 interceptions, 4 pass breakups. So in terms of his overall breakdown, Scott has better traits than tape and needs to become more buttoned up in several areas. But NFL teams are always searching for rangy, quick-footed safeties with his set of skills. His versatility on defense and special teams will be an attractive selling point on draft day. Let's go to pick 174 now. I had 4 picks in round 5. That would be very, very intriguing to me. And I'm going to go to the offensive side of the football. And if you've watched the show before, you know what quarterback I think that the Raiders are most likely to take. It's Aiden O'Connell from Purdue. He is the most likely QB that the Raiders pick based on odds and odds alone. The Raiders have met with him. The Raiders like him. And if they come away with this draft and they don't have anybody and they're going to wait until day 3, this is the name to keep in mind. O'Connell isn't a quick twitch mover or a thrower and is guilty of trying to get away with throws he knows he shouldn't make. But he is a strong-minded, accurate, and touches the ball, giggity, up at every level of the field. He has the skills and intangibles of a capable backup in the NFL. That is what you're going to be looking for, and that is what McDaniels and Ziegler would look for. Smart quarterback who can be a good backup for many, many years to come. Before I show you how I round out today's final Raiders mock draft, a friendly reminder that Chat Sports is going to be live as well. So Chugs and I are going to be here on the Raiders Report, but our Chat Sports channel is also going to be live doing their own draft coverage. And I'm sure you're going to see Jeremy and I pop over there from time to time doing crazy shenanigans like we always do. If you want more draft content, though, turn on the Raiders Report, turn on Chat Sports. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff. Links down there below. It's going to be in the comments and the description. Check out our draft content here at Chat Sports. Let's go to round 6, 214. I traded away 204 to the Saints earlier on. And with this pick here, this is where I start to look for just depth, maybe some upside. If I can find a key special teamer, let's do it. However, one of the players that I like a lot because he's a good athlete, Antonio Mafi was available. UCLA, is he a left guard? Yes. However, though, I do think that you can play different positions here and there, and I do think he fits with what Carmen Brasilla would want, and I think he would fit in if he learns 1 year, sits behind, and then in year 2, they put him out there, could be an intriguing player overall. NFL defenders will expose the raw areas of his game, but Mafi is a promising, heavy-handed mauler who looks to create movement with inline power. Although he might need time on a practice squad, he has the talent worth developing in a power-based scheme. I'll tell you what, in terms of who's had a lot of success developing talent, it's been Carmen Brasilla. I don't need Mafi to play right away. 1 year, let Brasilla work with him, and then who knows, you might have another late-round steal at offensive lineman. So the last time the Raiders took a defensive end from Eastern Michigan, I would say it worked out pretty well. So because of that, and because I talked to Crosby's dad, we're going to go with Jose Ramirez here. 65 tackles, 12 sacks from Eastern Michigan, and 2 forced fumbles. If there's one thing that I know the Raiders like, it's somebody who gives it his all. And that's what Ramirez is going to do, and I think Crosby would put him underneath his giant condor wings. So, offenses will find success running to his side of the field. But Ramirez gets to the quarterback off schedule with his relentless pass rush sequence. He projects best standing up as a rotational edge rusher. I know I throw out this name a lot on this show, Benson Mayowa, but the 1 year that the Raiders had Benson Mayowa, great situational pass rusher. He's not good in the run, but that's not why I'm drafting him. I'm taking a guy who shows heart, who goes out there and gives every single snap, and because of that, if you can get him on the field you put him on the field 10 snaps, and it's all pass rush situations, he's definitely going to be worth a 7th rounder. Let's go to the final pick here, special teams. Gervarius Owens, love this kid in the 7th round. He's a special teams guy. 74 tackles, an interception, 7 pass breakups. I don't think that he's going to find himself on a football roster on the defensive side, but from an athletic standpoint, special teams, let's get it popping. Owens lacks consistency in several areas, ball skills, tackling, route recognition, but he anticipates with aggressive athleticism pro coaches will appreciate. He projects as a backup and special teamer who can be more with NFL coaching. So what do you guys think? That's my final Raiders mock draft. I might even shed a tear or two because when you think about how much you talk about the draft for just a month straight, it's all you do. And this was the final one that we ended up breaking down. So I got Kalijah Cansey, Emmanuel Forbes, Drew Sanders, Corey Trice. Then we went Dorian Williams, Yasir Abdullah, Davis Allen, Daniel Scott, Aiden O'Connell, and then to round out, Mafi, Jose Ramirez, and Gervarius Owens. But you have to remember, the trade that I made was with the Washington Commanders for their first round pick in 2024, and they took Anthony Richardson. That has a legitimate chance to be a top 5 pick. Now, if Richardson's that dude, then yeah, you're going to be in a different situation. But I was also willing to do it because I looked at the teams in that division, and I think the Commanders are the worst team in the NFC East. So with all of that, grade my mock draft. Give me an A, B, C, D, or F. Be honest with me. I always look in the comments. I always see what you guys have to say. Can't wait to hear how you thought this mock draft ended up going down. Overall, for me, I would say probably A-, B+. There were a few other spots that I wish I could have done a little bit of a better job, but I thought I added a lot of good defensive talent, and the fact that we also have that first-round pick, love it. Yeah. Like, that first-round pick, really was pretty happy about it. Arba is going to give me a B. Lee minus, Keith B-. I don't see any C's, so for that, I'll take that as a win. So, Jeremy, we got 600 people watching right now. What we're going to end up doing is we're going to send this video to Loop, correct?
Yes. I'm getting it set up right now. I actually...
Cool. You're good. Take your time.
I didn't hit record in the very beginning, so I'm
hate
doing...
to see it. Frankie, give me an A. Marvin Pacheco says a B. Muhammad B. Zombie Mitch. What is Zombie Mitch? Is that... I'm actually worried if that's a picture of me. I don't think it is. Give me a B. Isaac Lee, A. I think A, but need a recap from Raider Nation. Well, luckily, you can always go back and rewind if you do need a recap. Jerry Moritz, B+. Tyler hit me with the very first C. It's fair enough.
It's okay.
Again, friendly reminder, Jeremy Chugs and I, the next time you will see us live, I guess I should say, unless there is breaking news tomorrow, will be during
Raiders trade up to the number 2 pick.
If the Raiders tomorrow traded up to number 2, we might just stay live until the draft. That'll be the 24 hours. There we go. 70 straight hours of Raiders Report content. Are you ready?
I'm going to have to move up that quesadilla order. If that's the case.
No, we wouldn't be live for that many straight hours. But we will be live for many hours this week. Many hours. I'm going to say over under 24 hours of live Raiders Report content Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Over under 24 hours. 8 hours a day.
Ooh. I think it's going to be right there.
It's going to be close.
That's a good number. I think it's going to be right there.
It's going to be close. It's going to be close.
And it's pretty close.
Yep.
Let's go over your Raiders mock draft.
Okay.
1, because I really liked it.
Okay.
2, because the playback is loading right now, and it's going to take about 4 minutes.
Oh, okay. That's
so
fine. Let's go back. How about this? You tell me what you think of the mock, and if anybody wants to get questions or comments in on it,
you can hashtag Raiders or Super Chat if you want to ask us any questions. This is your last time to ask Mitch a question before the draft.
Correct.
Before draft day.
I like it.
Round 1, getting Kalijah Kancey at 16. I love that. There's people that were like, oh, take him at 7. Much rather trade back into the teens and get him, because then, like you said, you're getting another pick. And then I said to Mitch, I didn't love the trade that you did with the Commanders, but if that 2024 first-round pick is a top 3 pick, the Raiders win it, and it's not even close. It all depends on how the Commanders do in 2024. If it's a top 3 pick and you're able to get Caleb Williams or Drake May,
oh, dude,
love it.
I mean, that would be insane to me, because if, let's say the Raiders are middle of the pack, right? Let's say they're in the teens, maybe low 20s, hopefully, if you get to the playoffs. If you have pick like 5 and pick 20, that makes it so much easier for you to be able to trade up and get one of those top guys. And in fact, if that were the scenario and the Raiders didn't trade up, I'd be pissed.
Yeah, because at that point, if you're that close and say the Bears get the number 1 overall pick and you're sitting there at 4, then give them, give them that pick, give them the next first-round pick. You can give them 3 first-round picks.
Yeah.
And still be good. Maybe even 4 first-round picks and still be good if you're really trying to get Caleb Williams or Drake May. But pending how the Commanders do in 2024, decent trade there. 32, I'm wishy-washy on Emmanuel Forbes. Like, him being so light, I get worried that bigger receivers are going to manhandle him. And I don't know how he's going to be able to hold up and run stopping. Like I was telling Mitch, if he can't get the weight up, if he can't be a good run stopper, then, I mean, what is he going to do if, God forbid, Derrick Henry's coming around the corner on a
what is any
running back toss?
What is any corner going to do if Derrick Henry's coming around?
I know, but
get out of the way.
But still, like even a non-Derrick Henry running back coming down, I worry about him in run stopping from the corner spot.
I do too, but at the end of the day, I want a corner that I believe can cover, right? And yeah, I could have had Devon or Witherspoon. I couldn't have had Witherspoon in this scenario. Could have had Christian Gonzalez, better corner cover-wise, but I like the combination. I hear you. Kelly Ringo, Cam Smith, Emmanuel Forbes, DJ Turner was an option.
That's a hard one.
Yeah, it was. And I could have gone linebacker here. I could have got, if you wanted Jack Campbell, could have probably done that. Could have done Hendon Hooker here at 38.
You could have done a tight end here. I don't know what tight ends were on the board or if it was worth it.
The top tight end available, I like Laporta, but Darnell Washington was gone.
Really?
Dalton Kincaid was gone. Mayer was gone.
Oh,
and then who am I missing? Musgrave was gone.
Really?
The top tight end, I like Laporta, but at 38 it was too high.
4 tight ends before the 38th pick. Wow.
Yep. Well, that's why a lot of cornerbacks fell. Tight ends went early.
Yeah. Well, in that case, I don't hate it. Drew Sanders at 47, steal.
Love that value.
Steal.
PFF is a little bit lower on Sanders, though, than I think most people are and should be. But, I mean, to me, I got 3 legit starters on defense.
Day one.
Yeah.
And you said that's what – I think 4 starters, Corey Trice, he could start in the nickel for you.
I like Corey Trice. To me, though, I have a lot of hope on Duke Shelley. I'm a big Duke Shelley guy, where I want him to get a fair shot.
Our Vikings host was legit pissed off whenever the Raiders signed Duke Shelley because of how well he ended the year last year. So I like that pick as well, going double corner, double dipping. If you're going to double dip at any position, I think corner or D-line would be the 2 that I would want to double dip in the first 3 rounds.
Fair enough.
Let's go on to the next one. I love this. This is probably my favorite pick of the draft.
Dorian
Williams in round 4.
Really versatile player. If you haven't already looked at the tape, watch the tape.
If everything turns out, he could even become better than Drew Sanders, who you took in round 2. Best case scenario for him.
I mean, best case scenario, you find to be honest, this is not quite the same player, but Tremaine Edmonds, the impact he made for Buffalo, where his ability to play legit safety and linebacker and play that hybrid, Dorian Williams has that ability. He's just got to put it together. He's not quite the athlete in overall size, but he could do it. I like Dorian Williams a lot.
And Eric is kind of disagreeing with us right now. He's saying way too high for Corey Trice.
I disagree. He's a top 100 overall prospect in my book. I don't know where y'all think that you can have him, but the best part about the draft is there's going to be people who agree, people who disagree. I just think also Trice is a good fit with what the Raiders want to do. Press man corner, somebody who's physical, and at 6'3", 215. The reason why I went with Trice is because he's almost the opposite of what Emmanuel Forbes is. Forbes is more your ball hawk, not going to be nearly as physical, where Trice, not quite much of a ball hawk, but he can be a lot more physical. So that's why I went with the pairing there. Eric, I don't like both the cornerback picks. That's all right. You're not going to like every single one. But who would you have gone with then? I like the pairing. To me, one of those cornerbacks is going to hit. And if they both hit, then there we go. Are we good?
Ooh, we're at 20%.
What does that mean?
20% loaded of the...
Holy cow.
Yeah, I really messed up by not hitting record whenever it happened, and...
it's going to be a while.
Give me a second.
Maybe 2. Fair enough. All right, we'll keep on looking here at the Raiders mock draft that we did.
Unless we want to just chill for another 5-10 minutes, cut the stream, and then get the cuts out.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. I was going to say, it's going to be another probably like 10-15 before it loads.
All right, yeah. Let's do that. So this is what we're going to do, guys. We usually send the video to Loop. We're not going to send it to Loop. We're going to just try to get the content out really, really quick for all y'all. So hopefully that's okay with all of you. For those of you, again, that tuned in to our live show today, much, much appreciated.
We do have another super chat.
We do.
From Alex. For the 3rd round pick, safety Jartavius Martin. Mitch has actually taken him in a mock before.
I've taken him before from Illinois. I mean, again, off the top of my head here with some of the notes that we have, It does look like we have him listed as a round 3 prospect, versatile corner, safety overall.
Also with these mocks, he might not have been, obviously you're not going to remember every pick of who's
Christ,
there.
I don't remember.
But he might not have been there on the board. You never know with the PFF mocks. You do them. I've done a ton of mock drafts. It's never the same guys who are there every single time.
Yeah, the notes that we have here at Chat Sports on him are round 3, versatile corner, safety. So I know the Raiders want versatility, and I know they're looking for a versatile guy at safety. So for 3rd round, you got two 3rd-round picks. Definitely a name to keep in mind. Borelli, see y'all for the draft. Borelli.
Eye emojis.
With the eye emojis.
What does that mean?
That's scary. That's what that means. I've been seeing what Borelli and the rest of Mount Raidermore has been typing to each other, and
in the group chat.
The group chat's a scary place. Everybody say goodbye to Mount Raidermore legend John Borelli. All I know is I hope y'all are ready because Borelli can testify what Ron's been saying, what Wild One have been saying. It's going to be something else, man. All right. We're getting ready to head on out of here. We're going to be live for every pick during the 2023 NFL Draft. Get the picks before you see it on TV. Subscribe, turn on those noties, but most importantly, I need you to have one hell of a night.